Well, I haven't done this for a while. It's currently early morning o'clock, as you can see. It's a little cloudy today, still fairly dark. If it wasn't for the snow out here, it'd actually be pretty dark. Now the camera doesn't tend to pick this up so well, so as you can see. Right, I am going to get a campfire going because it's early morning, and anybody that knows me will know that early morning means it's campfire time and breakfast. Right, so gonna make things a little easier today. I did remember my tea, and I also remembered my axe. Makes splitting firewood so much easier. I might be sounding a little rough. It's because I've been pretty sick for the last couple of weeks, which is why I haven't been out making videos. So, same as always. Now there are some little log pieces in the bottom here. I have scraped out most of the snow. You're probably sitting there thinking, I can't see anything. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is move these around so that I can get a base in the bottom of my fire. Because it doesn't matter what you do, you need to build your fire on the base. Okay. As always, split up some nice small pieces. Find something with a decent bit of straight grain. That's not bad. Right, I will do this and then I'll get back to you in just a second. Right, so I've set this up. I've split up a bunch of firewood. You didn't really want to watch me split up some firewood in the dark, so again, I put a base in here. I've got a little bit of kindling here. I found some logs which I'm going to put on the top. I'll show you that in a minute. Ferrous steel, one spark on a cotton ball. I've said it many times. It is the most efficient way I've ever found of lighting a fire. Most reliable too. Everything can be absolutely soaked. Doesn't matter. Let me tell you, this works. I see people making up fantastic feather sticks and stuff like that, and that's good. It works. It's a good trick. Gives you edges, but so does this. I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever now that that fire is good to go. So I have built it up on a base. I will feed a few of these little ones in here to start with. But once it gets going, I know I don't need to worry about it. That's all I do. See, there's a base in the bottom. Let's cut the boards. There's some logs in the bottom there, some partially burnt logs that other people have had. And set that up there. My fire is away. Cotton balls, you cannot beat them. Cannot beat them. I've not found anything yet that actually works better. I did find, really laying on the ground in the snow, there's some long sections, not very big, but some long sections of wood there, so I put them on top of the grate, and all that's going to do is pre-warm them, get them ready to go. So it is still a little bit dark o'clock, so apologies if you can't really see a great deal. I am working on it. Let's just take that one down a minute. I do have my ever trusty Fiskars. People go out and buy very expensive axes, and it's good if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you need a really good axe and it's got to last you 25 years. But this I have had, oh god, I've probably had this a good 15 plus years. It gets used almost every weekend. It's absolutely fantastic. I've got a lanyard on it because I don't want to drop anything. It's ground's not quite froze up yet. It's still a bit soft. In the middle of winter around here, the ground is like concrete. Yeah. It's easier to walk on. It's easier to do everything on, really. You probably noticed my fire's on a little bit of a slope. That is because there is a lot of material in here. I'm trying to keep it out the snow, so typical gravity wants to run downhill. Not too worried about it. There's enough heat in there now to get going. That's a nice little piece. Get that back in there. That piece is red hot. If you're picking up hot coals, here's a trick for you. Picking up hot coals, do it right with your fingertips, like I just did there. Right, just pick it up with your fingertips. No pressure, just very lightly. Pick it up, drop it back in. Done. You'd think you'd burn yourself, but you don't, because there's not enough time to transfer the heat to your skin. Yeah. Right, let's get this fire going, because I need some breakfast. The squirrels are waking up, just about. I'll get my fire going. They will know I'm here. Apologies for the coughing and what have you, but like I say, I've been sick for the last couple of weeks, which is why I haven't been out making videos. One of the places I do like to go, back end of nowhere. Unfortunately, we did have a very bad bear attack out there the other week. You've probably seen it on the news. It's been all over the world. A couple of people and their dog, unfortunately, didn't make it. The grizzly bear was very, very hungry. Wasn't in great shape apparently, and coming into winter, that's a bad combination. I have a theory as to why all that took place. I'm absolutely certain that the event would not have taken place had the dog have not been there. It's see, from a bear's point of view, when it sees a human, it sees this funny looking thing that's all funny colours, usually in a pack, standing upright on two legs. Well, that's something that wildlife doesn't normally see, so it doesn't associate us with being food. However, when it sees a small single four-legged fluffy thing, it knows that that is food. A bear will look at a dog and go, hey, yep, I can eat that. Now if there'd have been 8 to 10 dogs there or whatever, like a pack, because wild animals see packs different to singles, right? That's why a lot of places where you hike in the mountains, they say you have to go in groups of 4. It's because you look like a pack. Yeah, and to most wildlife, they don't want to mess with a pack, and they don't want to mess with a pack of something they don't know. However, that was a single dog, so the dog would have started going nuts when the bear turned up, and it's probably the dog that the bear could smell, because their sense of smell is insane. Like if you've got a corpse, a bear can smell a corpse 5 to 10 kilometers away. So trust me, they can smell a dog. And most wildlife, like if it was a coyote or a single wolf on its own out in the middle of nowhere, and there's a big grizzly bear there, that wolf, coyote, whatever, it's gone. It knows it's well outmatched. It's gone. Yeah. However, a dog will stay close by. It's going to stay close by to its humans because it's going to try and protect the humans. That's what dogs do. Yeah. So the dog would have stayed close to the humans. The dog would have been going absolutely nuts. The humans would have been doing everything they could, and they did. They did actually discharge 2 cans of bear spray. To my knowledge, it was actually dark. They'd settled in for the night. The 2 people had done everything they should have done, was absolutely correct. All their food was a long way away from the campsite. Everything was correct. But unfortunately, the bear was really, really hungry, saw the dog, and thought, okay, I can have that. And in a bear's mind, once it claims food, it's now belongs to the bear. As far as the bear is concerned, it's now his. And unfortunately, the dog was very close to the humans. I think the humans were more collateral damage. They were in the wrong place, wrong time, than anything else. The bear didn't deliberately attack them. They just happened to be there. Yeah. So it's a very unfortunate situation, very unfortunate indeed. But I'm absolutely convinced that the attack was actually triggered by the presence of the dog. I wander around these mountains all the time on my own, pretty much. Hardly anybody ever wants to come with me, not the places I go. And I can tell you now, I've had many close encounters with bears over the years. Never had any trouble whatsoever. But I'm quite certain that the situation would have been much different had I had a dog with me. So this time of the year, spring and fall, leave your dogs at home. Unless you really have to take your dog, don't. Any time of the year. And always make sure that your dog is on a leash. Because if a dog is right next to the humans, again, it's the pack mentality. The bear sees it as a pack. It knows it can eat the dog, but it's with a pack of something it doesn't know and basically doesn't like. Most wildlife tries to avoid humans as much as possible. So it's a very unfortunate situation. It's a bit of a shame there, but very experienced people, very experienced indeed. So it can happen, so always be aware. We are in bear country. We do have 2 bear sprays with me today. I can tell you now that just across that way, over through there, about half a kilometre to a kilometre, I was heading up a trail 4 or 5 years ago, I guess. Come around a corner, and 100 feet in front of me was an enormous grizzly bear. He was huge, just plodding away from me, thank goodness. And it obviously, the bear knew I was there. I didn't even know the bear was there until I saw it move. And it plodded off into the distance and just kept going. I thought, oh well, that changed my plans for the day. Yeah, I had planned to go that way, but that soon got changed once I saw the bear up in there. So, not going to follow a bear into a dead-end valley. That's never a good plan. No. So, always be bear aware. Always keep your dogs on a leash, because if a dog's with you, it's part of a pack. So, very unfortunate situation, but yeah, sadly these things do happen. Right, I am going to get this fire going. I'm going to get some decent heat in here. I'm beginning to get some heat. I can see the bottom boards are starting to burn. And then I'm going to get some breakfast on. Alright, I'll do some more later. I just had a scout around and found some partially cut up burnt firewood over there. So I shall use that up, might as well. That stuff burns slower than the stuff that I bought with me. Stuff that I bought with me burns very fast. I have an abundance of that wood, so I don't worry too much about it. But that's a little wet in there, I can hear it. That's good. Get a good fire going in there. Get some heat. I have sausage rolls and I have hot dogs today. It's going to be quite the feast. And of course, tea. I have my tea. So I've got some tools. Always make sure you bring tools with. Axe is handy, tongs are handy. Always very important to make sure that all the stuff that you need is where you need it. I'm going to put a couple of small pieces in there. Some of them dry bits in amongst that. Right. Thing that I know that I absolutely need right now is a cup of tea. Oh. Fire is going. Tea is made. Oh, having trouble there. Soon lighten up here, eh? So, I haven't done it for a while. So, fire, feet, cup of tea. Gotta do it. Have to have that shot. And oh, good. That is. Ooh, that is hot. That is a hot cup of tea. Very hot indeed. Yeah. Like I say, apologies for the coughing. There's a bug going around, some kind of flu bug. Had me laid up for a couple of days, I can tell you. Couldn't even get out of bed, couldn't even walk in a straight line. It was hideous. Well, more hideous than I normally am. Let's just put it that way. You can probably hear my voice sounds a little different. It very croaky at the moment, very croaky. Yeah, I put the grill on the top just to get that warming through. We'll warm these logs through, get them doing something. My plan is by the time I go there'll be nothing in here but coals. There was quite a bit of snow in the bottom of that pile there, but that's the thing I like about this time of the year. I've got my shovel with me. I always have the shovel in the car this time of the year, always, always, always. It's great for putting out fires, so I don't have to be lugging crap loads of water around with me to put fires out. I have plenty of snow around here. I've got nature's fire extinguisher right there, look at that. Yeah, you can't put a fire out with that stuff. You're in trouble. Yeah, like I say, always be aware that you are in bear country. I'm sitting here now, I'm listening to the squirrels. Squirrels will usually tell you if there's something bad around. Once crows get up, that's completely different. Crows make a lot of noise if there's bears and that around. Yeah, they let everybody know. You get to know the little sounds of the forest. You can tell quite often what's around you by the sound that the forest is, or more importantly, isn't making. If there's an apex predator around and really close, generally speaking, the forest will go quiet. And that's the time to really pay attention. When you're sitting in a forest that's generally noisy and then suddenly it goes quiet, everything's keeping quiet because they know that something bad is around. So yeah, always listen for the silence. Yes, it's a real shame that those people were in the wrong place there, but it does happen, unfortunately. But I'm absolutely convinced that entire bear attack was triggered by the presence of the dog. If the dog hadn't been there, I'm quite certain that attack would not have taken place. I wasn't there, I didn't see it. It's very easy for me to judge. Sat this side of the campfire. However, they were very, very experienced people. Very experienced people. They did everything right. And unfortunately, wrong place, wrong time, wrong bear. Yeah. That bear was hungry coming into winter, and it's never a good combination. Not somewhere you want to be. Yeah. Right. So the sun is starting to come up. Cloud is lightening up. Squirrels are all waking up. Once I get some decent heat, I should be waking up because I'll have some nice breakfast. Right, I'm going to sit and enjoy my cup of tea. One cup of tea. Thank you, people, for coming along. It's always nice to have people come along. I make these videos because I just enjoy making them. There's no earth-shattering, super-duper mega stuff that you're going to learn. There are many good educational channels out there, YouTube channels. There's some very, very good ones. There's some not so good ones, what I call the clickbait ones, but there are many, many really, really good ones. There's some great people out there. There's some great information. Yep. I do some of my hiking videos around Alberta here, but if you want to find really, really good outdoor hiking videos, there's a guy's name's Carrie, Live on Alberta. Let me tell you, he does some really, he actually does a lot of trails. There's no way I'm going to get up there. They're too steep for me. I prefer to be in the forest. He's quite comfortable on the top of mountains. That's a little out of my comfort zone. But Live on Alberta, fantastic site. Loads of really good trail stuff on there. But he does them very professionally. You know, he's got trail maps and elevations and all the other good stuff on there that is really handy. But yeah, so have a look at that. If you're into hiking and you live in Alberta, or you're coming here visiting, well worth a look. Yeah, there's Bob Spurco and obviously the Daffrins and all these people. They got amazing sites too. But for a local guy, hard to beat Carrie. Hard to beat him. Yeah. Right, that is starting to warm up really nice in there. I can feel the heat starting to come off the fire. All those wet logs that were in the bottom, as you can see, are now burning. So it's not going to be far till it's breakfast time. Yippee! Looking forward to breakfast. Okay, I was talking to somebody about feather sticks the other day, and I'm going to see how well I can video this, because I was telling them about a technique that I use. The idea of a feather stick is you want as many edges as you can. So what you do is you take your knife, stick it in the tree with the blade pointing upwards, right? Let's see if that'll actually video that. Might have to tip that up a little touch. There we go. So you put your knife in the tree around about head height, making sure that you keep hold of that knife at all times, right? And you take a piece of wood that you want to make into a feather stick, you just do this. And the idea is to put edges on your wood so you can use it for lighting fires. You're never going to have any problems with it. And then obviously you now have a very nice little stick, lots of edges. Chuck that in the fire, hey presto, away it goes. It's a very simple technique. The idea of a feather stick is to make as many fine edges as you can that will catch a flame. That's the idea, right? Yeah, it'll make as many fine edges as you can. And as you can see, that piece of wood's away now. There's plenty of heat in that fire anyway. But when you're carving a feather stick, I see people spending a very long time carving feather sticks. And the idea is all you need is a piece of wood with edges. Let the flame catch. Yeah? Something to grab a spark. So if you haven't got a log, the conversation came about because I said to him, I said, well, you can just stick it in a log in the ground and, you know, pull it backwards and forwards. But if you don't happen to have a nice log, there's a lot of vertical logs around called trees. So what you do is you take your knife, stick it in the tree. Take my knife up. Take your knife, stick it in the tree, and you want to be about head height. And so you just take your knife here, stick it in the tree like so, right? Make sure that's in there good and tight. Hey, Mr. J. Jay's just turned up there looking for my breakfast. You can bugger off, you're not having my breakfast. Yeah. Right, so stick your knife in the tree like that, blade facing upwards, because then you can use the other hand here with your stick to produce the edges. Yeah, but always make sure you keep hold of this end of the knife. So actually works very, very well. It makes a very stable work surface. And half the problem with doing this stuff is to make sure that you have a good, stable work surface. I see people cutting wood and they're perched on the edge of something, and you know, you're like, no, that's just an accident waiting to happen. You know, that's not going to be good. It's not going to work out good. So it actually works very, very well. It's not something I use all the time because I'll be honest with you, I don't often make feather sticks. I really don't. There's so much dry tinder in this forest and that around here. You know, literally there's thousands of square miles of dry tinder. I don't really need to make too many feather sticks. It's handy to know how to do it. It's handy to know how to do it well. But if you just need a piece of wood to put edges on, and generally that's all I do. Knife in the log, stick it in a tree, scrape up a few edges, give the flame something to bite into. Hey presto, you're away. Yeah. Yeah, look at a good fire going in there now, look. Actually a little bit too much flame now, so I'm going to have to let that die right down. I can't cook on that, it'll just burn everything real fast, turn everything to charcoal. But I will let that burn down. So I've got some nice embers in there, and then I need some breakfast. So I'll get back to you in a bit. Right, breakfast o'clock. And on today's menu, I'm starting with the hot dog. Move these through. Let's just toast that bun a bit. Now, if you were camping, back to the bear safety thing. If you were camping, you're out in the middle of nowhere, if this is where you're cooking your food, you want to be camping over that way. 100 yards, easy, 100 yards that way. Just get the hell away from everything. Yeah. Never prepare your food in the same place that you're actually sleeping. I always put everything in Ziplocs. Anybody that knows me I have everything in Ziplocs, in Ziplocs, in Ziplocs. And if I'm camping out in the middle of nowhere, they're all in Ziplocs, in a bag, up a tree, on a piece of line somewhere, way away from where I'm actually sleeping. And anything that has a scent, soaps, toothpaste, anything that has a scent. Don't take deodorant with you. I know when you're out in the forest for a few days you don't exactly smell good. However, you actually start to smell like forest, which is a good thing. You don't want to smell like a can of really nice Axe spray or whatever, you know, because to wildlife, they can smell that, and that's something different, and it's going to attract them. So always make sure all your toiletries, food, everything is in a bag, up a tree, a long way away from where you're sleeping. When you're preparing food, make sure you're not preparing the food in the same spot. And I've said many times, don't camp next to a river. It always looks good camping next to a river, camping next to a lake. It's fantastic for pictures, and it's the ideal. You only wake up and there's a nice river there, but the river masks noises, and the river has full of water, and all the wildlife needs to drink. So again, you're right in the wildlife zone, so you don't want to be there. Yeah. So make sure your food is somewhere else. Make sure you're sleeping somewhere else. Oh, that's getting nice and toasty now. Yeah. Somebody needs to invent a camera that has smelly vision and touch vision. Yeah, I'm sure it will come one day, because it's actually nice and warm. That is super warm. Yeah, that's good. Be careful not to burn these. Actually, it's only trouble with cooking on fire like this. It's very easy to go from just nice to burnt. Yeah. Just nice is good, burnt not so much. Yeah. Oh, she's warming up nice. She's warming up nice. When you're cooking food on a fire like this, it's very easy just to cook the outside, and the outside feels hot, but it's not heated all the way through, which is why you'll always see me bringing food with me that's pre-cooked, always pre-cooked. You won't see me bringing big steaks out here and onions and all that kind of stuff. A couple of reasons. Firstly, that smell travels for miles. We love the smell of bacon, so does everything else. You get that nice bacon smell wafting through a forest, or with onions and stuff. I see people doing what I call the outdoor cooking shows. They call it bushcraft, but to me it's just an outdoor cooking show, and that's what people want to watch. That's great. That's up to them. There's plenty of channels out there that do that stuff. There's some very good ones. There's a guy, Swedwoods or Swedwoods or whatever you call him. He's out in Sweden anyway. He does some very good videos. He's got some good techniques and tricks. Yeah, and that's a good channel to watch. He does some good stuff. There are some very good ones. The guy up in Alaska, I like watching his videos because he always puts humour in it as well. The Outdoor Boys. He always puts a lot of humour in his as well, and that's really good. Yeah. And there was a squirrel behind me just now that was making a lot of noise, and it suddenly stopped making a noise. So always a good idea to pay attention to the noises and also the lack of noises. Oh, that is nice. Nice. Oh, that is nice and warm. Put that in there. That is a nice bit of breakfast. Dave breakfast. Like I say, everything is pre-cooked. I'm not into cooking raw meat out here. If you're out camping or you're out bushcraft somewhere, you happen to, I don't know, take down a rabbit or whatever, because that's about as big as you're going to get unless you're actually properly hunting. To cook that meat, you've got to make sure it's cooked right through, like really well cooked through. You see these guys, they're carrying all these great big cast iron skillets, and fantastic. They've got a whole schwack of herbs and spices and all that kind of stuff. Reality is, you don't tend to do that. food that you can make hot, but it's not going to make you sick in the process of doing so. So I can tell you now, if you're out here for a few days, you do not want to be eating stuff like raw chicken. You got chicken and that with you, you better make sure that's cooked really, really well. You get some more bits of wood in there, turn some of those logs around, and I'm going to have another cup of tea. One advantage is you get the fire going, you start to get some really good heat. I like these fire pits or these fire rings with the fronts that are cut out like that, because it's very directional. If you get too hot, you're just going to stay on the other side. And I tell you, it's completely different stood the other side than it is this side. These ones with the cutouts, they are so much warmer. They're a much warmer fire. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the continuous ring ones. Like, I don't know what the temperature is this side, but I can tell you now it's pretty bloody hot. If you go around the other side, it's nowhere near as hot, because it's obviously all contained in the metal ring and it's all heading upwards, man. Yeah. Oh, I can tell you now, that is so warm. That is good. It's only, I think it's around 0 to minus a couple of degrees today, but like in the middle of winter when it's minus 20, minus 30, oh, trust me, these open fire pit ones like this with the open sides, they are so nice. Yeah. I did hear the other day, a lot of the campgrounds around here, they were taking out all the fire pits and stuff. And it's, well, most people go camping because they want to sit around a fire at night. So they took a bunch of the fire pits out of some of the most popular bloody campsites in the area. There's a place called Point, which is Upper Kananaskis Lake. They took all the campfires out, and of course everybody got found out. And Point used to be one of those places that was incredibly difficult to book. I mean, you had to book it as soon as the season started. You're booking it like right now, otherwise you ain't getting in there. And then what they discovered was bookings dropped right off, literally dropped right off. So but I was talking to somebody the other day whose brother has something to do with the Alberta outdoor stuff and what have you, and apparently they are putting the fire pits back in, or some fire pits back in at Point Campground. I don't think you need a fire pit in every single pad that's there, because I think there's about 20 pads there. So you imagine 20 campfires with 20 lots of firewood every night. And it's one of the good things with going camping is it's a community thing. So if you have 2 or 3 community campfires, like you have one for cooking, you know, and just spread them out a little bit. If you've got 20 sites, you know, to put in 2 or 3, so that if you don't like the group of people that are sitting at one site, you can go and sit at another site. Yeah, but that way you've only got 2 or 3 fires, so everybody can still sit there, do their marshmallows and sit and chit chat and what have you. And that's a really good community, because human beings have been sitting around campfires telling stories for ever. Yeah, and that's half the reason that people actually go, you know. So I did hear that they are putting them back in, so whoever made that decision, well done. That was a very smart thing to do. I think it had more to do with the fact that people weren't booking it anymore than anything else, but either way, people have spoken, and that's what they want, so let's put them back in. Like I say, you don't need one fire pit for every single campfire site, for every pad that's down there, because you don't need 20 campfires, but you do need 2 or 3, and it's the same up at Elbow Lake. You need to have 2 or 3 campfire sites up there so people can sit around. It's that community thing, it's that whole camping experience, isn't it? Your kids go along and they want to sit there and roast marshmallows and all the rest of it, and I can assure you now, roasting marshmallows on a propane cylinder is no, just garbage. And I hear all this about global warming this and global warming that and all the rest of it. Well, firewood's as much carbon neutral as it's possible to get. You know, it's ridiculous, a lot of this stuff that I'm hearing. It's absolute garbage, and it has more to do with politics than anything else. Voluntary taxation and all that crap, but I'm not going to get into that. This is not the video for that. But my fire has died down nice now. It's died down to the point at which I can get my sausage roll on now. I have a very nice sausage roll with me. I'm going to get that on there, and that should do up rather nice. So let me find that, and I will get that done. And for dessert, I have a really, really nice grapefruit. So again, these are all pre-cooked. I haven't got to worry about cooking. I haven't got to worry about smoke. see any trouble. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Once the smoke leaves you alone, it's good. Yeah. So I do have a very nice grapefruit with me. Again, these are all pre-cooked, so I don't have to worry about food poisoning and all that. What I'm going to do is make it hot. And on that fire, that ain't going to take long. That is not going to take long at all. Yes, I'm very pleased to see that they are actually putting the campfires back in. Yeah. Had a sneeze come in there, I think, for a minute. Like I say, I've not been very well for the last couple of weeks. Whatever this flu bug is, it's going around, it can bugger off, I tell you. It's a lot of people that I work with and what have you, they're all going around sniffing and coughing all day long. And it, unfortunately, it's that time of year. It's in Alberta. Most people are outdoors in Alberta. This is what we spend our time doing. We're outdoors. Albertan people don't like to be indoors. We like to be outdoors all the time. And as soon as winter comes around, of course, everybody's indoors. You know, all the buildings are closed up, and poor ventilation is a bad thing. And that was something that came out in COVID. The ventilation of buildings, fresh air intake, and what have you, is a very, very serious problem. At the beginning, nobody wanted to admit that it was airborne, of course, because that didn't fit in with the political narrative of how we're going to deal with this. That they said, oh, as long as you're 6 feet away from somebody, you're good. Well, sorry, but that was completely incorrect, absolute garbage. It has now been discovered that that was absolutely the wrong information. Yes, having masks on, being 6 feet away from somebody helps, but was that the be-all and end-all? No, it wasn't. Fresh air. They discovered that a lot of buildings were very, very poorly ventilated, and still are. So, yeah. But in the winter around here, of course, everybody starts staying indoors. All the buildings are getting closed up, and all this kind of stuff because it's winter, and of course there's no fresh air, and everybody's like, and then everybody's sick. Yeah. Well, she's warming through nice. Let's just have a look and see. Oh, Christ. Yep. That is hot. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to take long to warm up on that fire, that's for sure. Right. So now I've finished most of my cooking. Get those on there. Get my grill off of there. Let this cool down. Lean that against the end of there. Yes, in COVID they discovered that in actual fact poor ventilation in buildings was a very serious problem. Let's drop a piece of wood off the far side of the bench. There we go, let's try that. Oh, this is now so hot I can't actually eat it. Oh. Hot, hot, hot. Yes, good ventilation is crucial. Yes, they've actually started retrofitting a lot of buildings purely to deal with that problem. And they needed to, because wearing masks and everything is really good. I did notice the other day, although we don't have any masking restrictions and all that kind of good garbage going on at the moment, I did notice that even in the middle of COVID, politicians that were telling us everybody has to mask up and stay away from everybody else were still having parties with no masks and basically saying up yours. So I don't think they'll find that works quite as well next time round. So, if everybody's wearing masks, everybody's wearing masks, including politicians. So that was a bad bit of PR on their point. But fortunately, those particular politicians are no longer in office in this province. Too bad, so sad. On your way. Yep. I'm going to crank the heat up on this fire now, because I've got a whole bunch of nice dry firewood with me. I'm going to crank the heat up, and then I'm going to have my grapefruit and another cup of tea, and I'm just going to enjoy the day. I've just chucked the last of the little chunks of wood that I had on the fire. As you can see, it's brought up there a little bit. I just had 2 jays here and a woodpecker just sitting on that tree over there. The woodpecker's still here somewhere, but he went off over that way somewhere. Yeah. Oh, I'm just going to sit here and let this lot die right down. It's flaring up a lot now, but I can tell you now it'll soon slow down. Yeah, all those little chunks. These are all the loft up bits that I have left over. I'm cleaning stuff up. But, they make good firewood. They burn hot, they burn fast, but they don't burn for long. Right, that's pretty much it, I think. Just going to let that settle down. Thank you for coming along. It's been a good day.